The Crotchety Old Men podcast is not a registered investment, legal, or tax advisor or a broker-dealer. All investment financial opinions expressed by or on the Crotchety Old Men podcast are from the personal research and experience of the owner of the site and are intended as educational material. Although best efforts are made to ensure that all information is accurate and up to date, occasionally unintended errors and misprints may occur. Before you invest or make any investment-based decisions, consider your own personal circumstances. You should do your own research and seek advice from a financial professional.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Crotchety Old Men podcast. I'm Gary Smith, one of the hosts, and today joining me in the studio is my best friend, George Crumley. What's going on, George?
Oh, Smitty, everything's always good, man. It's another day, another sunny day. I'm so happy to be alive and so happy to be able to share some more information with our audience and educate them and expose them and give them opportunity. So it's a great day. So what are we talking about today, Smitty?
Well, I thought maybe today, George, we would talk to our audience about business. Starting a business, having your own business, and what it takes and some of the processes that's necessary to make sure that you get off to a solid foundation and certainly off to a good start. What do you say?
I think that's a great subject, Smitty. For one thing, that people need to understand that working in corporate America is not going to get you wealthy. Okay. It's going to sustain you at one particular position. But if you look at the way the United States was built on the capitalistic society, it's all about, taxes. It's about balance. And the tax code, as we know, was built for businesses, not for individuals. That's where you get all your deductions, and that's where you're going to actually prosper. So being wealthy means owning a business. The type of business is going to allow you to do what you want to do later on in life. So I think that's so important that you understand the importance of owning your own business.
Man, you are spot on. Owning your own business gives you freedom. Yeah, depending upon the type of business you have to work in it. But then there comes a point in business where you have to work on it. And I believe that if you start with that mindset initially, even where you're working at corporate America, particularly you younger people out there, if you got a good job, what's a good job? Well, that's a whole nother story. But if you have a job, all right. Remember,
Any
that's
job is a good job.
Any job is a good job now. It's better to have some money coming in than none. All right. But here's my point. Most banks will not loan to you, especially if you're a first-time business owner or you want to start a business, all right, if you don't have steady income. So while you're young, you have a steady income, you should have some pretty decent credit. Now's the time to take some of your money and start. What I tell my kids, my daughter and grandkids is, why don't you start looking for a 3 or 4 unit apartment property, small one, okay? Because here's something that you can engage in. I think this FHA has low down payment housing, 3%, whatever. That's a low down payment. You can get yourself into a business on that way of real estate, of course. But then there's other ways too that these FHA and Small Business Administration and things like that will loan money at a low rate to help you get started. And you got to get started somewhere. So the best way to leave your job is to have a business on the side that's growing to the point where it can replace your job.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to replace that income, in anything that you do. But before then, you want to stay on that job and allow it to, finance what's going to actually make you prosperous. Then that's
Exactly.
the key. You got to keep it. You got to keep your eye on the prize as to why I'm here and what my ultimate goal is to be. And,
Yep.
you talked about real estate, which is near and dear to my heart. That's kind of how, I made my strides when I was young, raising a family. But there's other ways. There's a lot of business out there, and they all offer the same tax advantages. So, I definitely encourage you to investigate that. Investigate it. It can be anything. It can be, something you enjoy doing. It doesn't have to be anything more difficult. But it's the key is to be able to allocate time throughout your day where you can focus on this business. If it's something that's not is something that's passive, that's fine. But something that you can enjoy, something that you can do, something that you can learn, and something that you can grow.
Absolutely. I don't know about you, but I do know about you. Neither one of us have ever made a dime without having a human being involved in the transaction. All right. Why did I say that? Because if a business doesn't have a product or a service to sell, chances are it's either a scheme or a scam. All right. So stay away from that. All right. But if you find a business that's flexible, works within your schedule, or that you can do it at night. I mean, hey, we both have burned the midnight oil late at night working on our businesses or our business plan or what have you. All right. And I'm telling you, young people, I mean, sure, you go out here and have your party, have your fun, but make sure that you have a mindset about business. Okay. That's your passport to freedom. When I mean freedom, not only just time, money freedom, the freedom to build a family, not only just to be with your family. Both of us, for and having our businesses has allowed us the freedom to travel, allowed us the freedom to visit our businesses or visit our certain assets or whatever that we have. When I talk about assets, I'm always talking about that real estate, hard assets. But notice this: the wealthy don't take vacations. They take business trips. Okay. So we got to get out of this mindset of taking vacations. When you got properties and stuff, here I go back to real estate again. George, let me pass the baton over to you because I'm going to talk about real estate, real estate, real estate.
Well, I don't know why you think it's going to be anything different because, I'm sitting here thinking that, that's what I get into is real estate. And that's what I got into, back in the 80s, which is real estate. And I know you talked about multifamily housing, but, I started with the simple thing, a condo down the street, a single family residence, 2 bedrooms and 2 baths that you can rent out, once you purchase. You can buy it in at a reasonable price, get into it. And that's the whole key is starting. Once you get that first property, it gives you the equity, it gives you the access to, springboard into that next property. And as you get into multiple units, then you're able to do those things, because real estate is going to allow you to do something that you don't have to touch and feel necessarily every day. I mean, there's different options. You can get you a management company to manage them, but the whole key is getting started today at that age, having that as your goal, because that can always be working in the background for you.
Absolutely. And let's just be frank about it. Real estate is one of the simplest businesses that one can get started, and money is not an issue. Money should never stop you from launching a business, particularly a real estate business. I mean, you have so many resources out there: hard money, soft money, private money. You got resources out here. So banks shouldn't stop you. Your credit report shouldn't stop you. None of that should stop you. Okay. Because there's so many ways of doing it. But let's kind of shift gears here a bit, because there may be some people that's totally immune to real estate. I don't want to be bothered. I don't understand it, or what have you. And even though there's mentors out here, what do you say, George? What are some other options that for people who want to start a business?
Well, let me finish that thought first, because I'm thinking, no, but listen at this. If you buy a piece of property that's worth $100,000 and you put 10% down, what's that, $10,000?
Mm-hmm.
You're now worth $100,000. So now you've just created wealth.
Yeah,
you can think of it just that simple.
It was so. Hey, on the Crotch of the Old Man, you see that it's about real estate, baby.
It's about real estate. So I think, I think we should probably stop right here.
Yeah, because we end up giving a real estate podcast instead of a business podcast, right?
Yeah, exactly. So when you think about podcasts, hey, tune in to a full length of the Thecrotchetyoldmenpodcast Old Man podcast. You can find us on all your favorite podcast platforms, that being iHeart or Google or Apple. We're all on them. We send out a new episode every Thursday. So make sure you tune in and listen to the Thecrotchetyoldmen Old Man podcast. We talk about everything finance. So don't miss it. So with that said, Smitty, what you got for us for a word for the day?
Well, since we're talking about time freedom, your time is limited. So don't waste it living somebody else's life.
Oh, that's good. I like that. That's good,
All right.
man. Hey,
so if you didn't know,
now you know.
All right. See you next time. Peace.
This is Dr. Paul Clemens with the Crotchety Old Men Podcast. If you're interested in financial tools to build wealth, and you're interested in ways to maximize your health through holistic alternatives, then you are just the audience that we're looking for. Tune in each week, every Thursday, to the Crotchety Old Men Podcast, where George Crumley, Gary Smith, and I offer you in-depth discussions on health and wealth. Subscribe to the Crotchety Old Men Podcast on Google, Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your favorite podcast.